guess all of the talk last week about you being a dad. Is it nice to get back into, I guess, Coach Ricky, ready to roll for that?
Yeah, I was obviously pleased for the win, and like any debutant, you like them to win their first game, and it was nice for Jed that we got a result, and that he went okay. So it was. But all in all, it's about the team and the club, and getting that win down there. We knew it was going to be a really hard game, and our preparation leading into that game at Campbelltown probably got us over the line at the end of the day.
We just thought Hudson walked past, he seemed in pretty good spirits. Mentioned just having a bit of an injection to give him a bit of a break. Important to kind of give him these breaks. It's going to be a pretty hectic run home.
Yeah, that was a plan. We've got to look after our players when we can. We've got an opportunity that we've seen Noah Martin play in New Zealand. He did a really good job, so we're very confident in the backup we got there with Noah. Simi Sasangi's been wonderful all year, and that just gives me the confidence then to let Hudson have a week off. He's had an injection in his pubis bone, I think it is. And that'll settle down. So he'll have a little bit of a monitored start to his preparation for Laurie, and then he'll be right to go for Origin 3, and then we've got the week off. So hopefully, just discussing with Ben, 1.5, 2 games in a month will be hopefully helpful for his injury.
How big was it for him to back up the other day off the back of that travel and to want to start, I guess, for this team?
We could have pushed him to play this week, but it's not fair on Hudson. And what he does for this club, what he gives for this club, he deserves to be looked after. So that's what we're doing that for. I wanted to play him off the bench last week, coming back from the game he had in Game 2 and the Perth travel, but he was happy to, but he said, he scared me when he said, I don't want to change anything. So I said, nor do I. So that's why I was happy to play him.
I guess obviously you sort of touched on Sydney and those guys have sort of shown that they're more capable of covering.
Yeah, and I've got a number of players in New South Wales Cup. We're not getting results there at the moment, but individually I've got a number of players there that I'm confident in playing NRL. And you've seen it with our debutants over the course of the season and years gone by that you put them into NRL. They've got players around them who look after them. The quality of play actually helps that player that comes up from Cup, and it just allows them to play their game of footy. And Noah and Simi have been wonderful examples of that.
I know he said he's retired, but the talk keeps coming out of Queensland about Papa coming back for Origin. Do you know whether has he put his hand back up or is he
mate,
retired?
I haven't even spoken to Josh about it. I hear the talk too, and it doesn't concern me. I know the commitment he's got to each week, and that's all that concerns me.
Heading up to Newcastle this week, always a really strong home ground there. How do you go about sort of blocking out that factor in the game?
Yeah, it starts with your preparation. We know exactly the environment we're going to be playing in, because we basically play there every year. I think there's not many years we don't get to play in Newcastle. So we've had a lot of experience in that type of vocal crowd, and you can embrace it and enjoy it, which we've been doing. We've been playing in a lot of hostile environments this year, and the boys have embraced it, and they use it as preparation for bigger games to come.
Last week we saw a good first half and then sort of let in points in the second half. How do you address that going into making it an 80-minute performance?
Well, I still think it was an 80-minute performance because they're a good football team, and to shoot out to 16-0 was a real advantage. We played some good football, and there was some a couple of good tries scored. So the second half of the footy, they got a bit more field position, and when you're down 16-0, it's pretty easy to risk your play, and you You can throw the ball around. If it comes off, it comes off. If it doesn't, you get beaten by 30. They took a risk, they took a gamble, and they played some really real attacking football. They shifted the ball around, and when you got good footy players, you can score points, and that's what they got. They got a good footy team this week, and they got a good footy team, the Tigers, and I don't know who they're playing this week, but they're not far away from a win.
Was that the defence in the last few minutes of the game last week something you took a lot of pride out of, keeping the Tigers out there?
The care is what I take the pride out of, to answer that question. When you care about something, they're defending for it, and there's a lot of urgency and care in their defence at the moment, and it's my job to try and keep that emotion each week, to try and keep that attitude with the players in defence, and that was a big 10 minutes on the back end of that game to keep the Tigers out. They had all the possession, they had so many play the balls in our 20-metre line, in our 20-metre zone. It was a really big defensive effort.
Then you had Seb Chris's 100th last week and Corey's this week. Anything to speak on to that?
Yeah, actually I do. It's having these guys in, really early in their careers. They're both 25, 26-year-old, playing 100 games is massive for us as a club. That they bring experience at an early age, and that's because they're both talented football players. And Corey started when he was in 2019, and I still remember one of the first meetings that year. I spoke about Emre Gula and Corey Horsburgh, who I don't think had played first grade then, and they both played in the grand final. So it was a wonderful. It's wonderful to have these guys playing 100 games at an early part of their career, because it gives me early experience for younger blokes coming through. And the younger blokes who do come through, like Jed last week, he looks up to those guys. I know how much confidence Jed got last week from Seb Chris. It was massive, and it was a big occasion for Seb Chris too. We celebrated that last week, his 100th game, as we celebrated Corey this week. And Corey's done a good job, and playing in the middle, playing 100 games. He's had a lot of injury to get over, a couple of off seasons, where he started the season slowly because he couldn't get an off season because of injury. But he's a resilient bloke, and I'm really, really proud of him achieving this milestone.
He mentioned yesterday that he thought that it wasn't something that he was going to get to with everything that had happened to him last year.
Don't worry, this time last year we both thought it. But no, look, last year with Corey and I, those things happen. People outside rugby league, people outside the NRL don't understand how tough a business it is. And you're with these players every day, and that's why I'm a coach who cares about my player, and I want to have the player trust me. We lost our way a little bit last year, Corey and I, and we're back on track, and have a look how he's going.
Yeah, seeing him on the verge of that origin sport again, seeing him smiling running around here, it must make you pretty happy to see that your players are happy.
It's amazing when you're fit, how it can change your mindset, your whole attitude to adversity, and when you're healthy, you got better ways to look at things. And Corey had a wonderful off season this year. He's healthy. He's got a really positive mindset, and when there's a little bit of adversity or a slight niggle or whatnot, or things don't go right at training or in games, you've got a better way to focus and control it than when you're unfit and unhealthy. And that's what's getting him there now. He's fit and healthy.
Bit of talk around today too. You guys might be looking at Jake Clifford as an option for Masters.
Yeah, he's one of 3 or 4 blokes I've spoken to. So.
Hoping that you'll have your shortlist narrowed down fairly soon.
No, I'm not in any rush. There's 3 or 4 guys there that we're looking at, and as I said, I'm not in any rush. I've got a lot on our plate at the moment, coming into the back end of the season, and we'll make that decision when it's right for us.
Nothing's been sort of finalised yet.
With who? No. As I said, I haven't named the other 3 or 4 that I've been talking to, so no, I don't have a meeting.